Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you all so much for joining us on today's edition of Quest's Power Play Tuesday. Today, we do have a special treat. We have Mikey Lucas on with us, who is going to be talking about oil and gas and investing in renewables to balance your portfolio. So Mikey actually leads the strategic planning, business development efforts, capital expenditures, including negotiations for American Energy Fund. He has a decade of experience in sustainable energy, business development, and marketing across several different business sectors. So he's, in addition to that, founded multiple eight-figure residential solar companies and has consulted virtually 260 companies in his career as well. His entrepreneurial background spans across multiple industries, including renewable energy, real estate, cryptocurrency, and technology. And in several of these different areas is where he's kind of consulted for, like I mentioned, over 260 companies. So here in just a moment, we will bring Mikey up from American Renewable Funds to talk about some different renewable resources and investing in renewables specifically. Before we do that, though, just a couple of housekeeping rules, as always, that we have to go over. So if y'all have been to any of the Quest presentations before, if you've been on either our Tuesday editions or our Saturdays and joined our webinars, you've probably seen this before. But essentially, just kind of as a disclaimer, we always have to give this out. Quest does not provide any sort of tax, legal, or investment advice, any deal structuring advice. We don't endorse any kind of product or service. So this truly is for your education and for your benefit. And hopefully throughout the presentation, you will keep this in mind as we kind of go through and Mikey goes through his information, that it is really for educational purposes. And then the second thing is I will have a few announcements from the Quest side after Mikey wraps up. And once we get through that, then we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. So any questions you do have for Mikey or for Quest, maybe how to use your self-directed IRA to make these kind of investments, please put those down in the chat and we will get those up at the end and address all the questions that you have posed throughout the presentation. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring Mikey Lucas up here. Mikey, pleasure to have you on. We certainly appreciate you taking some time to join us today and kind of speak to our platform a little bit on some different renewables and things that y'all are seeing in the market right now.
Yeah, of course, Colin. Thanks for having me. Thank you to Quest as well. I'm looking forward to being at the event. You guys throw a great event.
Yeah, we appreciate it, and we'll be happy to have you. Let me go ahead and I'll bring up, or I guess you can just share your screen and we'll just kick it off from there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
All righty. What's up, everybody? Appreciate you guys all jumping on here. Hope you guys are excited about learning about energy today. So my name is Mikey Lucas. I'm one of the co-founders of American Energy Fund. And I'm a big proponent on people don't care about what you know until they know how much you care. And I just want to tell you, I'll give you my bio at the end. Thank you, Colin, for kind of giving me the brief overview of what it is. So like I said, I'm the fund manager and co-founder of American Energy Fund. It's a diversified energy portfolio. We believe that America needs to become energy independent and energy strong with cheap, reliable, and clean energy, which means, unfortunately, taking aside the political side of it, where politics, unfortunately, they force you to pick one or the other, solar or petroleum, nuclear or coal, one or the other. Now, the cool part about American Energy Fund is that we invest into only American energy companies and American businesses here, specifically in the energy sector. And we believe that this energy super cycle is the best investment that you can make to balance your portfolio. So I'm excited to be able to share with you guys not only our vision, but what we're doing and the successes that we've had, and really just give you guys education, because it doesn't seem like most people understand that you can actually, instead of buying a stock, you can actually buy the actual oil well or the land itself where the oil is produced out of, or you can buy the land where the solar farms or the pipelines are produced out of. So very excited. Let's get moving. All right, obviously our disclosures, as we already went through, just to kind of protect myself as well. This is for education information purposes only. We don't offer any legal advice or investment advice here. So again, seek your counsel before you do any types of investments. Now, here's the big idea in 60 seconds. By 2030, the US will consume 39% more energy than it does today. The US has produced less energy in the past 10 years. Not only that, but the price of oil and natural gas has increased by 50 and 30% respectively. And if we don't take action now, the energy crisis will only get worse at an accelerating pace. Oil and gas is a reliable, cheap, affordable source of energy, supporting millions of jobs in the US and, like it or not, generating billions of dollars in tax revenue for our country. And without investing into the oil and gas, the US economy is at jeopardy. This is why the American Energy Fund is committed to investing into oil and gas reserves. Energy is our economy. Energy is our future. This is not a topic that needs to be swept under the rug and waited on for politics to be able to solve this issue. This issue hits home. This issue hits home for my grandfather, who is on Social Security and can barely pay for his electricity bills now. Can't barely pay for his food and things like that. Single parents, okay, low income people. They're having this tension put on them because, unfortunately, politics are playing a long-term game here, and unfortunately, we the people are the ones that are affected. The ultra wealthy, they're not affected. When their power bill goes up by 50%, goes from 500 to 1,000, it's not going to take the cheese out of the mac and cheese, right? This is about your children's children, solving your problems. So this rising to the challenge here in the world of energy, it demands in the world where energy demands continue to rise, we stand at a critical point of a global transition towards sustainable, reliable energy. I know this might not be the biggest thing that you're talking about at the table with your family, but I will tell you this, is that there's over 2 billion people that don't have access to energy right now or across the world. I've served in philanthropy trips all over the world where reliable energy is not a guarantee. It's not a promise. And if you remember anything here, the scares in Texas in 2021, the Texas energy crisis of homes losing power for days on end, people, dying because of it. We have a problem, and this is one of the largest problems that I studied for the last decade, going on a decade and a half because of school as well. And I realized that, hey, we can go make a bunch of money and sell used homes, or I can solve what I think is going to be something that's going to last 100, 500 and a year and 1,000 years from now, which is this energy problem, this energy solution that we have. The American Energy Fund is at the forefront of a transformative change. We recognize that the future of energy lies in responsible, efficient, and innovative practices. Ironically enough, it's kind of like technology where 20 years ago, we were all on dial-up, remember AOL, dial-up internet? Well, a lot of times the oil and gas companies are using, the drilling companies are using, or were using these old technologies. And nowadays, you guys will see here in a couple of slides that how our company, American Energy Fund, is leveraging AI to be able to help us identify oil producing reservoirs. It is no secret, okay, unless your head's been under a rock, that you know that your price over the last few years, even the last decade, prices have gone up, right? And we are running right now what I call the worst experiment ever. We have an energy shortage. We've been shutting down natural gas and coal power plants. It is there's red tape around all of the permits to be able to expand for fusion or nuclear or even natural gas or liquid natural gas plants where we can actually have reliable, cheap energy for the American people, not just for the ultra wealthy. We have an energy shortage, and then there is going to be a massive future demand. Last time I checked, there's been a migration in the United States over the last few years now that is more than the bottom 10, if not 12 states, and it could go up in the next few years as well. It looks like it's going to. There's going to be a major future demand of energy. So in today's energy landscape, a colossal challenge looms. Energy availability is at an all-time low. Again, this is right hitting your pocketbook. The person that's listening to this is hitting your pocketbook. And the cool part is that you can do something about it. I don't know about you, but I don't like investing in things that I don't personally use. Well, guess what? Unless you're Amish, you're probably not viewing this if you are, because you're on your cell phone. You are using this product, and this is something that you can capitalize on, this energy super cycle. So the world's growing population coupled with expanding demands of industry and technology created an unprecedented need for increased energy generation. Guys, we don't need less natural gas. We need more. We don't need less solar farms. We need more. America at its heart is an innovative country. We have an entrepreneurial spirit. We need more. We need to bridge the gap between private equity, private capital, and the energy sector. And we can solve this together as we the people. So where is this energy coming from? Well, being that I've installed $27 million in residential solar, you're hearing from someone that's not just saying, hey, we need to go buy oil and gas wells, but I'm also saying we need, I personally think that every home that can have solar on the roof should have solar on the roof. I personally think that every commercial building that can have solar should have solar. Yeah, sure. And that means, government subsidies, great. Well, that's one of the only ways we're going to be able to solve this energy crisis that we're in. And the cool part is you're listening to this, you'll be able to hear about how you can capitalize and what it's going to look like to be able to actually make generational wealth and invest like a billionaire and not like a millionaire and invest into this energy transition. And I don't even, transition, let me be clear here, does not mean we're getting away from fossil fuels. The transition is away from major corporate companies who are doing M&As and buying up all the smaller companies and that leave us, the American people, out. I'm going to show you how to have a seat at the table and how to have an insider's point of view, insider deals. Seizing the energy opportunity. So across the United States, there exists an enormous unmet demand of energy. As our cities continue to advance and digitalize, our need for reliable energy sources is increasing at an accelerated rate. And the soaring demand transcends industries, encompassing everything from residential to manufacturing, transportation, and information technology. Where is this energy coming from? Okay, I am a consumer of energy. Okay, for a very long time, for about 3.5, 4 years, I had a Tesla, which we drove, and it was a phenomenal car. I used to work for SolarCity, which is now known as Tesla Energy. I'm a big Elon Musk fan. So you're hearing a young man talk about how he's going to be investing in oil and gas, but at the same time, we have to find a better solution than shutting down oil and gas, which you guys see all over the internet, all over media, and just go to solar and to wind, which I'm all for. I don't really like wind, but that's okay. We need it in certain times. In certain markets, it's great. Here's the cool part. American Energy Fund has built out an AI tool to be able to identify where we've partnered with AI and are leveraging AI to be able to identify the resources below the ground. Not only that, but taking Ray Dalio's principles of how we make decisions when we go and buy and invest into companies. We are leveraging AI because if you don't use it, you're going to be used by it. And we have been using AI on a daily basis for the last probably 5.5 years now. So we partnered with AI, innovating energy production. At the heart of our strategy lies a remarkable solution, oil and gas innovation. We believe that harnessing the immense potential of these resources, optimizing their extraction, and developing cutting-edge technologies to maximize efficiency and minimize environmental impact. Listen, y'all, I am a big environmentalist. But at the same time, I care about low income and elderly people to make sure that we can do what's right for humanity. And right now we need to make sure that we are investing into companies like ourselves to be able to go out and solve these problems. I am that crazy kid that thinks he can change the world. And I've been that since I was a little kid. And over the last decade now, we have done some enormous accomplishments when it comes to alleviating the stress from the grid and helping put money back into the middle class and lower class, as well as obviously the upper class too, because when you invest in this, it's awesome. And you know that. That's why they call it oil rich, not real estate rich, right? So here's some of the cool stuff about the technologies. So the old way of doing drilling is you see here on the left-hand side, low permeabilities, limited thickness of the production zones, covering large areas of gas-rich locations. In other words, it's very hard to get this gas out of the ground. It's deep, a mile deep and 2 or 3 miles out with this rock and sand and formations. I mean, dealing with Mother Nature is never easy. But it's with now new technology, just like the cell phones, new technology. 20 years ago, this old way of drilling, like this right here on the old way of drilling, the jelly, it's like a jelly donut, the conventional way of drilling. You have basic vertical penetration, limited formation contact. You can get 11, 12, 15 zones. But now the new way of drilling is like a tiramisu cake. More sophisticated horizontal penetration, extensive formation contact. We are able to now help and invest in companies that are on the forefront of these more efficient, effective, and productive ways of doing drilling that are also safer for the environment. Now, being that I live in Houston, I thought this was a funny tagline. Houston, we have liftoff. Moving energy production forward with a steadfast focus in oil and gas investments and sustainable energy investments, our portfolio is strategically positioned to capitalize on the current market opportunities. This is an energy super cycle. This is the quote unquote 2007, 2008 of energy. Oil and gas consumption is going to remain at a high demand for the foreseeable future. Believe it or not, unfortunately, I'm not going to say that the media has always been wrong. They've been right sometimes too. I think they used to be right a lot more back in the day. But, if you read the news, you can see that, we're going to run out of oil. We're going to run out of, natural gas. I'll tell you this, we've got more natural gas here in just the great state of Texas than most of the countries in the entire world, let alone Alaska, not including one of our allies, Canada. But oil and gas consumption is going to remain at a high demand for foreseeable future because of the increased demand for oil and gas. The economy runs on energy, cheap, clean, reliable energy. I'm obviously very long on natural gas. Solar is one of my favorite investments too. There has never been a better time to invest in this sector. Guys, if you're listening to this right now and you're a professional investor, you know what I'm talking about. All you have to do is follow the money. You can see these large hedge funds and, massive organizations, they are positioning themselves just like the banks did in 2006, 7, 8, 9 to be able to capitalize on this super cycle. And you now have the opportunity to be able to do the same thing. Yes, you sitting on the other side of the screen, that's you. You have the opportunity to do that too. And my boy Elon says the world needs more energy, more oil and gas to deal with the energy shortage while pushing towards the transition to sustainable supplies. We are never going to get out of oil and gas. Oil and gas, believe it or not, is in pretty much everything. If I look around my office here, everything pretty much has some sort of petroleum product in it, a refined petroleum product in it. Plastics, spandex, right? It's in everything. This was our internal NRG method that the American Energy Fund has built, a 163-point inspection. When we go out and we actually invest into companies, we put them through an extensive 60-day background and due diligence process before we do anything. Because I'll tell you this, coming from the solar industry, you guys have probably heard a lot of bad things about residential solar. Well, I'll tell you this, it is no different in the oil and gas industry. It is dog eat dog world over here. And the checks are always in the mail, and no one's ever drilled a dry hole. And it is due to this process, this energy method, that makes American Energy Fund stand out. It's a proprietary process that we use when we actually go and interrogate, aka do due diligence on companies before we invest any money, because we're putting our own money in there too, our family's money, our friends' money. Off-market partnerships, key exchanges, and capital diversification. So off-market partnerships, pretty easy. It's like buying real estate, right? If you buy off the MLS, you're going to get the full price. You're going to be going up against competition against everybody that has Zillow or Redfin or any of those. For us, we are, because the majority of capital, $20 million and below, has fled the industry of oil and gas specifically and gone to renewable. That gave us a blue ocean strategy where we now can come in and capitalize. And yes, that means we're going to get better returns because we're one of the few companies that have money that can go and invest into the smaller and mid cap operators. Also, we partner with the big cap operators like Shell and Chevron, EOG. But we got off market partnerships. We've partnered with experienced operators that have decades of experience in their specific city. Imagining working with a real estate agent that's never sold a house in New York City, but they've only sold houses in San Francisco. Good luck. It's not going to work. It's not the same. A house is not a house. A parcel is not a parcel. Sands are not just sands. It is very specific to the location. The rock is very different in each area. The sun is very different in each area. If you were trying to go put up a solar field in Seattle versus a solar field in the middle of Nevada or Arizona desert or Utah desert, we are talking completely different sun hours. So we've partnered with experienced operators in various off-market drilling projects and recompletions. We've got key exchanges provide capital solutions to oil, gas, and solar companies in exchange for high yield interest payments, royalties, and ownership interest, meaning we are not just getting, we're not just drilling for oil. Drilling for oil has been known as the riskiest part of investing into energy. So if you read any book on oil and gas, there's hundreds of them out there. I've read most of them a few times. They always say that the crazy ones are the ones that drill. Now, we do have a small portion of our portfolio, of each of our portfolios, into to drilling oil and gas. That's because there's a lot of tax benefits from them, which I'll show you guys here later. But there is a capital stack. There is 16 or 17 different ways in just upstream energy that we can make money and that we do. I'll give you one. My partner loves doing this. He does billion-dollar deals. He did billion-dollar real estate deals in his career. And he loves what's called a convertible debt loan. Convertible debt, where we'll get call it 15 to 20% interest on a year or 6 months. It's like a bridge loan. And then it turns into equity within the company. And those are our favorite. Now, again, that probably wouldn't be possible 6 or 7 years ago. And it might not be possible in 4 or 5 years from now, but it's possible right now. And we are leveraging the heck out of it. It is one of our favorite terms. I got a call yesterday asking for $6 million for, and I obviously told them, hey, look, my partner wants convertible debt. And they said, what do you guys want to see? Why? Because it is so hard to get money from these banks. Why is that? Because of the push towards ESG. So we're coupling renewable sources and oil and gas together with a diversified portfolio. So capital diversification, the fund deploys its capital in a diversified manner to maximize income, tax deductions. Yes, that's right. Active income tax deductions and passive income tax deductions, while mitigating risk at the same time. So let me just give you guys some quick financial projections. Obviously, these are whenever I watch presentations like this, I always go, oh, well, they're basically saying it's guaranteed. So there is no guarantees in this. This is literally a hypothetical situation here. But again, this is what we go off of here. Rather, the next slide will kind of show you guys some return projections. But this is slightly what the returns that we look for on an annualized basis, our targeted return whenever we go and invest into these 4 different types of projects. We've got drilling, which is 100% return. If we're not getting a 2-year return at a 40-year average of oil and gas, which means about 100% return because of where oil and gas is at today, which is just about $85. If we're not getting 100% return, we pass. Reworks and completions, it's kind of like rehabbing a house. Should be between 50 and 100%. This is just basic guidelines. So again, you don't have to use American Energy Fund to go and do this. Surely you can go on, Zillow for oil and gas and find, all of the auction sites and buy these yourself. This is a very good resource for you that we put together. So again, take screenshots of this, come back to this. And again, there's tons of books, not only that we've wrote, but that are out there in the world on Amazon and at Barnes and Noble that you guys can buy and start to learn about this asset class. I want to say a side note really quick. 46% of the ultra wealthy, the family offices, have their money not in real estate, stocks, bonds, gold, cryptocurrency. They have it in alternative assets. And this is one of their alternative assets that they invest into. It's just, unfortunately, because of the last decade or so, people try to not really talk about it. Meanwhile, it's because they don't want you to know about it. That's the catch. Unbeatable returns and cash flow. American Energy Fund invests in 4 types of asset classes, each with high competitive returns profiles, only available through the American Energy Fund's private investment. So drilling, reworks, existing production, about 30% returns, and then collateralized loans, 15% plus royalties or profit participation, discounted equities, projects, or companies. So this is our financial projections. People obviously always ask us this. This is basically your tax deduction example. So if you were to invest, one of the reasons I was able to in my 20s create multiple 6 figures a year in passive income was because I learned very young that billionaires invest not just to store their wealth, but they invest to mitigate their taxes and redirect what they would have paid on their active income taxes into cash flowing assets. For most people, that takes 20, 30, 40 years to be able to do that through the life insurance policies and all these other things. It takes a long time. You don't have 30, 40 years to be able to actually create generational wealth. You have to create generational wealth now. You've got 5 to 8 years left, and you should make that this next bull run in the energy sector a portion of your portfolio. So here's some financial projections. So your tax deduction example, the example here demonstrates about how 30% of your investment could be a deductible in the first year. Now, again, you're going to see, probably because you're watching this, which means Google knows you're clicking on oil stuff, you're probably now going to get targeted by oil and gas companies. I see them all the time. I obviously look at them and I screenshot them because I'm like, wow, these people are lying. They say 100%. I've even seen over 100% or 80% or 90%. I always say, look, my dad always taught me, hey, Mikey, there's a price sticker and there's a what you swiped your card for sticker. I always ask, what am I swiping the card for here? So in other words, with our fund, because we're diversified, we're a cash flow fund investing into the energy sector here in America only. We are diversified. So we're not doing 100% of drilling, but we do have our strategies which maximize tax benefits, but also inject cash flow back into the fund and grow the business. But if your income, you're married, the top right here, your income was $500,000, your effective tax rate's right around 24.5%. So it means your tax liability right around $122,000. After investing with none other than American Energy Fund, your income, you have $500,000. Let's say you gave $100,000 to American Energy Fund and you got 50% of the first year IDCs, which is a intangible drilling cost. You can look it up. It's called an IDC, a TDC, and an ITC. Intangible drilling costs, tangible drilling costs, and investment tax credit for the energy sectors, which is in oil, gas, and renewables that we can leverage. So this is a very conservative saying that we are saying only 50% was put towards IDCs, which again, it's kind of like in depreciation, if you will. Some things like the roads to the oil well or the roads to the solar farm are not tax deductible at quote unquote 100%. They're only 20%, or they take 7 years to depreciate. And again, obviously you have to have a very smart CPA that understands the IDCs, TDCs, and ITC to be able to maximize this. And again, it's not very hard. You can actually just research it. Obviously, they make it sound very hard, but once you read it probably 5 or 6 times, 10 times, you're like, oh, that actually that makes sense now. So your total income now, instead of it being 500,000, is your taxable income is 450,000. Your tax bracket is at 35%. Your tax liability, instead of $122,000, is now $105,000. So your first year in savings is $10,500. That might not sound like a lot, but when you can reinvest that back into cash flowing assets, I always tell people, look, when you reinvest into cash flowing assets, that helps you now grow. And unfortunately, most people in America, they don't understand the extremity of uninterrupted compound interest. Most of us, especially the younger generation, 20, 30, and 4-year-olds, we never thought when we were going to be 60, 70, 80, like some of you watching this. And fortunate enough, I was able to actually sit down and listen to the wiser, older men than me, and did what they told me to do when it comes to investing. So where are we going next? There's going to be exponential growth. American Energy Fund is committing to identifying investment opportunities that support the transition to renewable energy while also providing investors long-term sustainability and potential for growth. Guys, I'm convinced that this is the market to be investing in. Energy is a energetic industry to be a part of. Potential opportunities, somebody just went a knee slapper. Potential opportunities include oil and gas, solar, renewable energy technologies and companies, carbon credits, carbon capture and storage. These are very, very exciting industries to be in. But the good thing is, as long as you understand the basics around energy and understand how energy got to this computer right here, if you're driving an electric car, how did the power get to your car? If you can understand when you go to a gas station, how did that gasoline come out of that ground? You just push a button, right? 87, 93, whatever you use. Where did that come from? That came from likely my backyard here in Houston, where 80% of the oil and gas is refined and then shipped around the United States and even to the world. A lot of our oil and gas wells, if not every single one of them, from my understanding, is refined right here in Houston, Texas, and then shipped out to a neighborhood gas station like yourself, where you guys are from. Not only that, then you have your natural gas power plants, right, with the base load energy. You now have the opportunity to invest in this, so long as you're an accredited investor, and that's the catch. You're probably thinking, what's the catch, Mikey? Well, unfortunately, the U.S. government makes it very hard, because they listen to the large corporations, the lobbyists, and said, hey, we don't want the common American to be able to capture this. They should have 5, 6, 7% returns. Let them have that. Let's let the alpha returns 15, 20, 30% be to the ultra wealthy. Not anymore. So who is American Energy Fund? We're based out of America. We're based out of the United States. Of course, we're out of America. We're based out of the United States. American Energy Fund is a diversified investment vehicle, a privately negotiated debt and equity investments, oil, gas, and solar assets that provides investors with above average passive income, hedge against inflation, superior tax benefits, while promoting American businesses and energy independence. Myself and my partner, Brad, are avid fishermen. We care about the environment. We really do. We do not drill. We do not invest or advocate for any drilling offshores. Our mission together, my partner and I, is to capitalize and promote the transition to an economical, sustainable future for humanity through impactful investments in American energy infrastructure and technologies. If you couldn't tell, I'm pretty passionate about this. Over the last decade and a half, I would sleepless nights figuring out how I was going to help middle-class America, low-income America, and elderly people not have to suffer to get their eggs at 7x, 10x, or pay for gas and decide they can't go see their grandkids across the state or across the city for that much now. This problem for me is something that I will die on the sword for, and I will continue to push. And obviously, we're looking for people that are impactful, purpose-driven investors as well to be able to partner with. So if you want to speak to us, obviously you can reach out to us on Instagram, on LinkedIn, Facebook, or you can scan the QR code, take a screenshot, and we'll send you guys some free some free assets that you guys can start to learn. I think that's the biggest thing is that people want to learn about oil and gas, and that's really the main thing is people don't have an understanding of what oil and gas is. And right now, I always say, hey, look, Warren Buffett says the most dangerous investor is an educated investor. So if you want to know more, obviously follow us on social media. Get to know us first. Get like, who are these men? What are they doing? Why are they out there talking about this stuff? Because I think that is one of not only a threat to America that nobody likes to talk about, but it's true. Our energy grid is at risk. And obviously, if they were talking about it in the Congress bad people know about this. And if we don't become energy strong again and start to deploy energy across the world, but also take care of our people first, we are going to see problems for not just yourself, but your children's children. I can field some questions now. I hope you guys like that.
Awesome. Mikey, thank you so much. Very, very, very powerful. And before we haven't had any questions come through just yet. Everyone, please put your questions there in the chat and we will get to those here in just a moment. Real quick before we get into that, I mentioned that I do have a few updates and want to share some information on some upcoming things that Quest has going on as well. The first one here talking about, investing in your self-directed IRA. How can you utilize your retirement money, your IRA funds to invest in solar, in renewable energy, in American Energy Fund, right? That is what we are here to help with. That's what Quest Services provide. If you're a current account holder or somebody who's interested in potentially utilizing your retirement funds to invest in a self-directed manner where you have a lot more control, have options in alternative assets, let us know. This is just a small list of some of the different investments that we see on a day-to-day basis. And truly, the self-directed IRA gives the account holder a lot more control to choose what investments they make. Feel free to scan this QR code. It will give you the opportunity to schedule a consultation with either myself, one of our other IRA specialists, somebody here at Quest who you can speak to, discuss fit, different account types, talk about our services. We're happy to go over, what our fees look like. We're very transparent about all of these things. So let us know. We'd be happy to set up a time to speak and have a discussion with you on what makes sense and how you can move forward, and what options you have as well. So with that being said, as far as events that we have coming up, and this is what Mike and I were kind of talking about at the very beginning, the Expo is going to be one of the largest alternative investment conferences across the country. It's going to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area this year. So this is something we do. It's kind of worked out to be about every other year at this point. Our last one was here in Houston back in 2022. So this one's going to be in Dallas-Fort Worth, specifically in Irving, Texas, June 27th through the 29th. So that very last weekend of June, it'll actually be Thursday. We'll have like a welcome reception. Everybody will fly in, and then Friday and Saturday, that 28th and 29th, will be our 2 days packed full of different keynote presentations and panels and tons of networking opportunities with other attendees, with sponsors, right? There's going to be so much opportunity for people, regardless of your experience level, regardless if you have an accreditation, regardless of what your investment interests are. There truly is something for everybody here. And I highly encourage y'all to check this event out, especially if you've never attended an expo before. The value provided from the networking and information and education truly is bear none. So I think we do have a video here to play. Mac, if we can pull that up. Just a quick video that kind of talks about the past expo and sort of gives you a glimpse on what this upcoming event will look like as well.
I get a lot of business from the Quest event. I talk to people, I network with people, and it actually becomes business after the event. So we are here because we want to meet as many investors as we possibly can. Quest does a great job at putting people here at the event. This event, I think, is great for first-time borrowers, first-time investors, and experienced investors. This event is great for finding funds that could fit their investment needs. I get a lot of business from the Quest event. I talk to people, I network with people, and it actually becomes business after the event.
Okay, pardon our technical difficulties there. So hopefully that gives you an idea of kind of what the expo will look like. The environment is incredible. It's extremely lively. There is so much to do. There's so much to learn, and people to meet, right? Whether you're talking to sponsors, potential vendors, investment operators, or other attendees, right? There's something for everybody here at the expo. It truly is like, we all leave that weekend like one big family. I love every time that we get the opportunity to host one of these. And it's been a couple years. So this will be, a great opportunity. You can actually get tickets right now for 50% off. And this is by far the biggest promotion that we are running on this event. It's only valid for the first 150 users. So this is something that I think is actually getting pretty close to stopping, if I'm not mistaken. So take advantage while you can. If you purchase your tickets now, you can use code EXPO50 to get 50% off. General admission tickets are $350 at full price, and VIP tickets, which include a VIP lounge, lunches on both days, different VIP experiences, and networking happy hour, and other specific panels and presentations only for our VIP attendees. Those tickets are $850, and again, 50% off, so only $425 if you take advantage now. Okay. Let me see here. So, Mikey, I'm going to go ahead and bring you back up. And while still haven't had any questions come through yet, but I would like to open the floor to you and kind of give you the opportunity to talk a little bit more specifically about your investment, your funds, your opportunities, and kind of how you help real estate and alternative investors and people that would be interested in this. Kind of what is your 30 or 2-minute pitch on that?
Yeah, you have the ability to write a check to Uncle Sam, or you can give a check to the American Energy Fund, where we can help you not just invest like a billionaire, but you can also then be able to participate in investments like the other billionaires and live like that billionaire mindset as well. The alternative asset sector is where not just in alternative energy or in energy, but alternative assets are where the billionaires, where the money is going, which is why American Energy Fund has started to deploy capital throughout the United States. And I'm telling you right now, our phone is ringing off the hook when it comes to operators that need cash. And we are negotiating phenomenal deals and leveraging these deals to be able to build a multi-billion-dollar fund. So American Energy Fund is, again, we can only accept, because of the regulations, we can only accept accredited investors. Our minimum right now, it was 250,000, but we wanted to open it up to investors that are just wanting to get their feet wet at $100,000. And again, this is a cash flow, tax benefit energy fund that we are not just investing in oil and gas, but also in solar assets to purposefully, obviously we want to get, and our main goal is obviously to return capital and to have profit, but we're trying to solve a problem. So we are purposely investing into the energy sector to solve the energy crisis while leveraging and becoming billionaires off the crumbs of Exxon and Chevron.
Awesome. One question we had here, somebody wanted to see the tax saving slide again. I don't know if you can pull that back up.
Yeah, let me see if I can get it for you. It's all on our website as well. If they want to get it all downloaded, it's all there as well. AmericanEnergyFund.io. They can get all. We've got tons of ebooks that we just try to educate people on this, because it's not something that they have seen or heard before. So let me see if I can get it presented up real quick, brother.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say, Mikey, is that the recording will be posted on our YouTube channel later this afternoon. Honestly, typically it's automatically uploaded within a few minutes of the conclusion of the presentation. So
Cool.
For any other questions, y'all can certainly go there and kind of take a look at everything too, or just wanting to see, a recap.
Yeah, this is a very conservative tax deduction example on our side. It is better. We are big proponents and live by under promise and over deliver. So this is a very conservative manner when it comes to the tax benefits, because you see it all the time on the internet. At least I do, just because I'm in the marketing side as well for the company. Companies promising 190% and 80%. And I always say 80% or 100% of what? 100% of $10, right? So it's funny how you have to be educated on what these, and again, talk to your CPA, talk to your advisors that understand. And there's not, there's a few books out there. We've written a few of them around the tax implications of investing into energy.
Awesome. And the same person there, I guess their question on this specifically was in that after investing with American Energy Fund, how did you arrive at $450,000 as the taxable income?
So 450,000 is if 50% a year one is the IDC. So 50% of $100,000 investment gives you a $50,000 tax deduction against your adjusted gross income. So $500,000, if 50% was an IDC, that would then make your taxable income no longer 500,000, but now 450,000.
Perfect. Okay. Well, if there are not any other questions, we can kind of wrap everything up there. Oh, they said, maybe, I don't know if that was just a typo. They said the first year IDC tax shows 30,000, not 50,000.
Yeah, I see that.
But anyways, so Mikey, again, thank you so much. Certainly appreciate the time that you've taken out of your day, out of your Tuesday, and be able to share a little bit with us and present on some of these renewable energy investment topics, specifically investing in solar. So thank you to American Energy Fund. We are looking forward to seeing y'all at the expo, and guys, you can meet both Mikey and myself and our teams as well. They're at the expo. Please come out, and it's going to be a blast.
Appreciate it, Colin. Thanks so much, brother.
All right.
See you soon.
Everybody, y'all take care.